Fresh approach. www.999wefm.com. WeFM News online on demand.
Good afternoon and welcome to WEFM's Midday News, brought to you with the kind compliments of Court St. Vincent Limited.
How we live? How we live? Hybrid life, living on the hybrid life. What you feeling? Hybrid life, we're living on the hybrid life. End up on time, we now watch phone bill. That's with the contract, is a sure thing. How with the new floor plan name? Hybrid. If you don't know about it, then they better slide in. How we live?
We got stoves, cook it, fry it, bake it, stew it, poach it, eat it, drink it, slurp it. At Quartz, you can get it. We got fridges, slurp it, chill it, freeze it, store it, crisp it, pack it, and stack it. At Quartz, you can get it. Wash or dryer it, wash it, fluff it, spin it, dry it, clean it, fold it, wear it, sort it, and soak it. Rinse it, load it. SDA gon' make you blend it, crush it, toast it. At Quartz, you can get it.
It's the appliance event happening now, only at Quartz, bringing value home.
Welcome back to WEFM's Midday News, brought to you with the kind compliments of Court St. Vincent Limited. I am your presenter, Rajiv Providence. First, on the local scene, the Special Olympics SVG team is in full preparation mode for the Special Olympics World Games 2023 in Berlin. With Digicel's support, the 12-member team will be heading to the Games, which take place from June 17th to 25th. In St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Digicel will be doing bi-weekly posts on social media before and during the Games, a farewell soiree to give the athletes one last hurrah before they depart, and a welcome home reception at the airport to celebrate the team on their return. This year's Special Olympics World Games is expected to have approximately 7,000 athletes and unified partners from approximately 170 countries competing in 24 sporting areas. Digicel SVG's support of Special Olympics over the years has seen sponsorship of the 2022 bocce competition, the purchasing of 100 barbecue meals for staff as part of the Special Olympics SVG fundraising activity, provided sponsorship of US $10,000 to facilitate the representation of SVG at USA Games in 2022, as well as provide sponsorship of over US $20,000 for a contingent to represent SVG at the 2019 Abu Dhabi World Summer Games. The St. Vincent and the Grenadines Conservation Fund's Farmland Restoration Project in North Leeward closed its first phase of year-long activities with a project achievement event on May 22nd at the Cumberland Recreational Facility. The project was implemented by a local civil society organization, Hand to Earth, and focused on soil regeneration and erosion prevention in farmlands. The project farmers, graduates of the project's Vetiver Systems Technology Training Program, conducted in June to August 2022, were praised for their continued participation in project activities over a year-long period and presented with locally produced natural pesticides and fertilizers, spray cans, and a laminated aerial photograph of their farmlands. The project farmers cultivate among remains of historical vetiver contour plantings that were established almost 100 years ago during their great-grandparents' generation. Although abandoned in the 1960s, contour farming with vetiver is now recognized globally as providing the most effective intervention for soil regeneration, erosion, and natural hazard management. Still on the local scene, citizens of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, as well as visitors, are being advised to be cautious this carnival season. This advice came from Superintendents of Police Mr. David Trumpet and Mr. Benzel Samuel during an appearance on WEFM's Cop Chat program. Superintendent of Police Trumpet advised patrons of events to avoid exposing their money and jewelry.
Do not expose your money. Avoid wearing jewelry. because someone could just pass, grab your train, hold you up and take it, and try avoid going in places where there are not people frequenting, like lonely areas. Avoid it. That would help to ease some of the robberies in the country.
Superintendent of Police Samuel noted that police patrols are especially ramped up in areas where vehicles are parked during major events so as to deter break-ins.
Any major event, whether it is in Kingston or outside of Kingston, once there's a major event and there's a parking lot, or even if sometimes the vehicles are parked on the street, you normally have police officers patrolling that area where vehicles are parked. So that could have an eye out for persons who want to break these vehicles. So just not just in Kingston, yes, primarily Kingston, but for example, if we have a function, if there's a function in Mespo, and based on where the vehicles are parked, we'll also have officers patrolling that area, traffic officers, or sometimes maybe the officers from SSUR or your drug squad.
Or even the district itself. District station,
yes.
Yeah.
That was Superintendent of Police Mr. Benzel Samuel speaking on WEFM's Cop Chat program. Vincima celebrations are set for June 30th to July 11th, 2023. On to news in the region. A fire has destroyed another dormitory in Guyana in Karasabai village. The Guyana Fire and Rescue Service says the report was received at approximately 4 a.m. It states, "At this time, we can confirm that everyone was evacuated from the building and no one was injured. However, the building and its contents were destroyed. Investigations are ongoing." This latest fire comes on the heels of the Midday Secondary School dormitory fire, which claimed the lives of 20 children. A teenage girl has since appeared in court on multiple murder charges after being accused of setting that fire. Prime Minister of Belize John Briceño signed a US $45 million development loan agreement with the Saudi Fund for Development for the construction of a tertiary hospital in Belmopan. His Excellency Ahmed Al Khatib, Saudi Arabia's Minister of Tourism and Chairman of the Board of Directors of SFD, signed on behalf of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. The signing is part of efforts taken by the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia to support developing countries and small island developing states like Belize to overcome sustainable development and climate change challenges. This agreement, therefore, emphasizes the Kingdom's commitment. More than 200,000 citizens are expected to benefit from the new state-of-the-art medical facility, which will provide both secondary and tertiary healthcare services. Additionally, the new facility will serve a dual role as the university hospital for the University of Belize's Faculty of Medicine, providing an enabling environment to foster the growth and development of future medical professionals. On the international scene, Sri Lanka's central bank has surprised the markets by cutting interest rates for the first time in 3 years, a sign of confidence that the worst of Sri Lanka's financial crisis is over. Economic mismanagement, coupled with the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic, left Sri Lanka severely short of dollars for essential imports at the beginning of last year, tipping the island nation into its worst financial crisis in 7 decades. Severe shortages of food, medicine, and fuel led to street protests that forced then-President Gotabaya Rajapaksa to flee the country and resign. A new government took the reins in July and negotiated a $2.9 billion bailout from the International Monetary Fund, the IMF, in March. This was the 17th IMF bailout for Sri Lanka and the third since the country's decades-long civil war ended in 2009. Inflation, which hit a record high of about 70% in September, is coming down. Government revenues are looking up and pressure on the country's balance of payments is easing, Al Jazeera reports. The government aims to complete talks to restructure its bilateral debt with other countries by September. And finally, in sports, Wimbledon champion Elena Rybakina underlined why she is among the French Open favorites with a convincing win over rising Czech star Linda Noskova. Kazakhstan's Rybakina won against the 18-year-old to move into the third round on the Paris clay. Rebecchina, 23, showed her ability on the red dirt by winning the Italian Open title last week, and this was her 8th successive victory on the surface. The 4th seed will play Spain's Sara Sorribes Tormo in the last 32. Rebecchina is part of the emerging Big Three on the WTA Tour, alongside Poland's Iga Swiatek and Belarus's Aryna Sabalenka, with the trio having won the past 4 Grand Slam titles between them. This has been WEFM's Midday News. I have been your presenter, Rajiv Providence. Join us again at 3 p.m. for WEFM's 3 p.m. News. WEFM's Midday News is brought to you with a kind of compliment of Court St. Vincent Limited.
We got stoves, cook it, fry it, bake it, stew it, poach it, eat it, drink it, slurp it. At Quartz, you can get it. We got fridges, slurp it, chill it, freeze it, store it, crisp it, pack it, and stack it. At Quartz, you can get it. Wash or dryer it, wash it, fluff it, spin it, dry it, clean it, fold it, wear it, assort it, and soak it. Rinse it, load it. SDA gon' make you blend it, crush it, toast it. At Quartz.